in honor of a Jerusalem Day, a Yom Yerushalayim, which is coming up this week. We are going to study about Yerushalayim. And I thought to study a very interesting prophecy about Yerushalayim. It says here, we could see in the first source. Who wants to read it? From the prophet Yeshayahu.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it. Isaiah 62:6. Upon your walls, O Yerushalayim, have I posted guardians, all the day and all the night, continuously. They will never be silent. You who remind Hashem, do not be silent.
Thank you. So the question is, who are these guardians? He posted on the walls of Jerusalem. Soldiers, okay, soldiers. There are definitely soldiers on the walls of Jerusalem, if that is true.
Maybe angels.
Angels, okay. Anyone else has any idea
I think
who these guardians might be?
also the people itself, like we cannot just say that they are like ordinary people. They also can report to the police, like they also considered guardians, yeah?
Okay, good. So it says that they will never be silent, meaning that they are always saying something. What are they saying?
Praising Hashem.
What? Praising Hashem, Levim.
I think
What do you think?
this like prayers never stop. Right?
Never stop.
Okay. So it doesn't say here, it doesn't say in the prophecy what they are actually saying. So for that, we have the Talmud. The sages actually ask, what are these guardians are you saying? And because it says that they will never be silent, it seems that there is a very important message for us. So we are going to go on a journey trying to discover what this message is. Okay? And what are these guardians saying? So it says in the tractate Menachot, in source 2. Who wants to read it?
I can read it.
Thanks.
Menachot 87a. It is written upon your walls, O Yerushalayim, have I posted guardians all the day and all the night, continuously. They will never be silent. You who remind Hashem, do not be silent. What do they say? Rabbi, son of Rabbi Shila, said, they say you will arise and show Tzion mercy. Rabbi Nachman ben Yitzchak said, they say the builder of Yerushalayim is Hashem.
Thank you. So, first of all, it is some kind of a prayer, right? And they are saying, actually, both of these verses, the first verse is from Tehillim, Psalms. This is the first view. That a Rabbi, son of Rabbi Shela, says, you will arise and show Zion mercy. Okay, so this is the first verse, according to this view. And according to Rabbi Nachman ben Yitzchak, they say, the builder of Jerusalem, Hashem. Okay, so we have to try and understand what is the meaning of both of these verses that the guardians are saying. So what do you think? What do you think is the important message of both of these verses? Both of these opinions, basically, two different opinions.
Well, I guess at least to me, they both seem like it's like a positive future. It's like showing a positive,
Mhm.
like something in the future. It's be positive.
Okay, great. Something positive in the future.
Both the verses speak about that Hashem will protect or overlook
Mhm.
Yerushalayim.
Okay, great. Thank you. That Hashem is going to protect and overlook Yerushalayim. Very good. So, when the Talmud brings the verses, it is always important to receive the verses in their context and to open them up and to study them, and only by doing so one could understand exactly what the sages of the Talmud are actually saying. So we are going to do so, and we're going to open up these verses and a studying and study them, and then we're going to understand something very, very interesting. Okay, so we first of all the first verse. You will arise and show Zion mercy. Okay, so let's look at it in its context. Who wants to read source 4?
I can do it. Psalm 102. He will arise and show Zion mercy, for there will come the time to favor her, for the appointed time hath come. For your servants have cherished her stones and favored her dust. Then the nations will fear the name of Hashem, and all the kings of the earth your glory. For Hashem will have built Zion, will have appeared in his glory.
Thank you. How many stages are there in this verse? In this group of verses? Historical stages.
Oh, I'm guessing like first like the Mikdash will be destroyed, maybe.
Three, I would say. 3 stages.
Well, it doesn't say anything about the destruction of the temple. The destruction actually happened,
After this, right?
right? But here, David, you are saying that there are 3 different stages.
Yeah, maybe 4.
Could you explain what stages we are?
So the first stage would be you will arise and show Zion mercy, like Hashem will return, basically to Yerushalayim in what shape or form or whatever.
Okay.
Let his presence be known. And then Israel will come back and build the country, Yerushalayim, and then afterwards the nations will fear either Israel and Hashem, probably both. Yeah. And the fourth verse is like basically Hashem will have built Zion. It's like, okay, like in the past tense, this is what happened.
Okay, thanks. A beautiful explanation. You were saying that there are 3 different stages here. First of all, as you said, the nation of Israel is going to return into its land, right? And then the second stage is that the land of Israel is going to be rebuilt, and then the third stage of the nations are going to honor the nation of Israel. So beautiful. So historically, in what states are we now? In the first, second, or third stage?
Maybe the second.
Second, that's it.
I'll say the first one, honestly, Ralph.
Okay, first. You were saying a first. Okay, very nice. We're going to talk about this. So first of all, it says, "But you will arise and show Zion mercy, for there will come the time to favor her." Okay, so first of all, historically speaking, actually according to the tradition, there are two times for the redemption. There's the set time that Hashem he planned already from the creation of the world, which the Vilna Gaon, he said it would start in year Hey Tafresh, okay? Hey Tafresh is 1840, okay?
I thought it was 1842.
1842.
Was that?
Well, you are talking about 1882, perhaps. That this is the time that the first Aliyah has started. But in year Hey Tafresh, it says, הנה שיר השירים, כל התור נשמע בארצנו. Before that it said, הניצנים נראו בארץ, וכל התור נשמע בארצנו. In the land, there started to be seen sprouts, and the voice of a turtle dove is you heard in our land. Okay? And Hey Tafresh is Hator. Okay? 1840, because in the Gematria, it is supposed to be like this. Here is a 5,000, okay? 5,600, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And the 5,600 is 1840. Okay? This is the Hebrew year, and this is the January year. Okay?
So it was Tafresh Hay was the year, basically.
But no. Hey Tafresh.
So what
The
Hebrew
hay
year
is
would
the
it be?
5,000. 5,600. We are now in the 5,783. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So this is actually the time that Hashem he started it to show Hitzion mercy. Okay? And then the nation of Israel, where it came in year Betamar. Okay, it said A'aleh Be'etamar. Actually, it is important to note that the students of the Vilna Gaon, they came at the Hey Tafresh 42 years before the first Aliyah. And it says here, for your servants have cherished her stones and favored her dust. So this could be, how do you understand this verse? What does it mean that the nation of Israel has to do?
They have to build it up, maybe?
Okay, to build up the land, that could be understood. Physically, okay, building up skyscrapers in the Kiryat Moshe, right? But it also means, and this is something very interesting, it doesn't say here build with her stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says cherish her stones and favored her dust. It means that the nation of Israel, we have to cherish the land of Israel. We have to cherish the rebuilding of the nation of Israel, the rebuilding of the land of Israel. Meaning that we have to want the redemption to happen, okay? We have to cherish the process of the redemption. So, whoever said that we are still in a stage 2, I agree, because that we are still moving on to in between the stage 1 and the stage here 2, because that if the question is if we are proud of our identity and proud of our destiny. So if this is something very, very important, because but only when we are going to cherish the really rebuilding of the land of Israel and to cherish our destiny, then could the third stage come about, that then the nations will fear the name of Hashem, and all the kings of the earth your glory. Okay? This is something that we are waiting to happen. But in the United Nations, instead of condemning Israel about every single thing, about every single building that we build in the settlements, right? But if they add one more street or one more kindergarten in a faraway settlement, so the United Nations they condemn Israel, right? So instead of that happening, they are going to fear the name of Hashem. Okay, so but it is something way more than that. It is that the whole situation in the world is going to change, the spiritual level, the moral level, as the prophecy of Yeshayahu. Who wants to read it in source 5?
Already. It will happen in the end of the days. The mountain of the temple of Hashem will be firmly established as the head of the mountains, and it will be exalted above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. Many people will go and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of Hashem, to the temple of Hashem, the Elohim of Yaakov, and He will teach us of His ways, and we will walk in His paths. For from Zion will the Torah come forth, and the word of Hashem from Jerusalem. He will judge among the nations, and will settle the arguments of many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not lift sword against nation, and they will no longer study warfare."
Thank you. So this is a wonderful destiny that is actually, the last part of it is written on the buildings of the United Nations, right?
What irony.
What? Right, yeah. So B'ezrat Hashem, all they have to do is when they walk into the building and just to read what it says and to fulfill it, right? So all this is going to happen when we truly are going to want to be who we are, okay? And if you could look at the Kuzari, source 8. Who wants to read the Kuzari? This is the end of the book of the Kuzari. Okay, when the king of the Kuzars, everyone is familiar with the book?
Yeah,
Kuzari? Okay, so when the king of the Kuzar asks Rabbi Yehuda HaLevi, when is the redemption going to come? When is Jerusalem going to be rebuilt? So he says, what does he answer him? Who wants to read?
I got it. Rabbi Yehuda Levi, Kitab al-Kuzari, Part 5. This sacred place serves to remind men and to stimulate them to love God. being a reward and promise. It is written, "You will arise and show Zion mercy, for there will come the time to favor her. For the appointed time has come. For your servants have cherished her stones and favored her dust." This means that Yerushalayim can only be rebuilt when Israel yearns for it to such extent that they embrace their stones and dust.
Thank you. So we asked, what does it mean here to embrace her, to cherish her stones, right? And to embrace dust. So it means actually to really want it to happen. Okay, so we really have to cherish the dream and want it to materialize. And Rabbi Cook wrote, you could see in source 9, if we know our greatness, we know our essence. And if we forget our greatness, we forget our essence. So this is the first message of the guardians of Jerusalem. It is our identity and destiny. We have to be proud of who we are. And when we are proud of who we are, also the nations of the world are going to respect us. So,
it's happening
what?
right now. Most of the nations are respecting Israel.
That's right,
now.
that's right, yeah.
And they don't mess with the armed forces of Israel. The idea. I feel this is the
That's
only
right.
Israel is
It's
the only
also true.
nation that has like Iron Dome, right? Originated Iron Dome.
America, they bought it from Israel too now. But
Yeah.
It was made in Israel.
And so this is something interesting that Rabbi Jonathan Sachs once said, that the land of Israel has got a special blessing to turn even the worst curses into blessings. And this is what happened. The Hamas fired on us rockets, and we turned it into a blessing, building the Iron Dome, which is the first in the whole world. There is no such thing in the world, and it came from Israel. This is something that could save lives. It already saves
Thousands.
lives over here. So they are also planning to build, to develop an Iron Dome against large missiles, and also smaller ones, and against drones, against all kinds of things. There's a whole development about it. So this is the first message of the guardians of Jerusalem, to be proud of who we are. And now we're going to move to the second message of the guardians of Jerusalem. And who wants to read the source 10? It is in the Psalms.
I'll read it. The builder of Jerusalem is Hashem. The outcast of Israel he will gather in. He is the healer of brokenhearted and the one who binds up their sorrows. He counts the number of stars. To all of them he assigns names.
Thank you. So it says that the builder of Jerusalem is Hashem, the outcast of Israel he will gather in. So it is interesting. If there's a question in the tractate of Brachot, the sages ask, you could see it in source 11, when does Hashem build Jerusalem? Okay, this is the big question. When does he build Jerusalem? And the answer to the question is when he gathers the outcast of Israel. So, what does it mean to gather the outcast of Israel? Who can explain this?
Well,
What does it mean?
Because you could say, or you can say that's like to actually gather like all the Jews from around the world to bring
Mhm.
to Israel. Or,
Right.
or we can maybe say like also people like who maybe aren't like showing mitzvot
Ah,
to get them
Mhm.
back to like the dot.
beautiful. So it has a twofold meaning, or it could also mean, as you said, a kibbutz galuyot, to bring all the nation of Israel to our homeland from all the countries of the world. Machon Meir is a great example for this. Right. Just around this table, so we have so many different countries, right? America, Germany, that's right, Canada, all kinds of different countries, right? Yeah.
From the States.
Didn't you say something about Canada?
So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Ah.
So and additionally, there's the other explanation to this verse, that it also means that to bring the nation of Israel together, not only physically together, but also unity to unite the nation of Israel, to bring everyone's hearts together. And it also means spiritually together. So with what our sages are trying to tell us that the condition of building of Jerusalem is the building of the nation of Israel. And this is something very interesting that just a moment. Right. So it says over here in a source 12, in the tractate of Chagigah, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, if a built-up Jerusalem is like a city that is united together, a city which makes all the people of Israel friends. So this is the second message of the guardians of Jerusalem, that everyone has to be friends. It doesn't matter if there are different views or different opinions, but everyone has to feel the connection to one another and to love each other, no matter what the opinions are, because that the difference of opinion shouldn't divide the heart. And in Jerusalem, it can only be obtained when the nation of Israel is united, when the nation of Israel is together, because the city of Jerusalem was never divided between the tribes. And it's interesting, in fact, when King David purchased the Harabait, the place of the Beit HaMikdash, the Temple Mount. So it says, you could look over here, there's two verses which contradict each other. Let's see who we can find the contradiction. Who can read source 15?
Chronicles
Chronicles 1, 21, 25. So David gave Ornan for the place gold shekels weighing 600. And that's 16.
Yeah. Also 16.
Scroll 2. But the king told Arana, "No, I shall purchase it from you for a price. You shall not offer up to Hashem, my God, free elevation offerings." So David bought the threshing floor and the cattle for money, 50 shekels.
Okay, thanks. So there is a very big difference between 600
50.
and 50, right? So there is a contradiction here. Who can explain the contradiction?
Is Ornan and Arun is the same person?
Yes, yeah. The same person.
Well, this is just a maybe putting out thereof. It says gold shekels weighing 600.
Ah.
50 shekels. So I was like
Okay.
down like the words I used. Or
That's right. That is interesting. But it means the same thing.
600.
Yeah. 600 shekels or 50 shekels. So how could you explain it? How could it be two contradicting verses?
Oh, I mean the first one he's buying the place, and then the second one he's buying like the cattle and the threshing floor.
Well, let's ask you something like this. Okay, math. Okay, 50. Okay, times what equals a 600?
12.
That's right.
For each tribe.
That's right.
Oh.
So every single tribe paid 50 shekels, okay?
I've never done that.
And then it's a 600. Now, why is it important that every tribe pays their share for Jerusalem?
So that no one tribe can claim Jerusalem as theirs. Everyone has an equal share in it.
That's right, because Jerusalem belongs to everyone. So only when all of Israel is together could we merit for Jerusalem. So I would like to tell a story about that. That is an interesting story. That it is a historical story. So Jerusalem, I am talking about the old city of Jerusalem. During the War of Independence, the old city was under attack by the Jordanians, and we tried to conquer it. We tried to not to conquer it, to liberate it. And the Etzel tried to break the wall from one side, and the Lehi tried from another side. And all the different forces, because you would know that at that time, if there wasn't only one united army, there were like all these different small organizations that fought together, the Palmach, the Etzel, the Lehi, the Haganah was the main one. But they were unsuccessful. They didn't succeed in a breaking through. And Jerusalem was lost. Meaning the old city was lost until 1967. For 19 years, Jerusalem, the old city was beyond anyone's reach, beyond anyone's dream. And in 1967, something extraordinary happened. A very great miracle. Perhaps afterwards I'm going to talk a bit about the miracles of the 67 war. Perhaps afterwards I'm going to talk about it. But there was a great miracle of that the Jordanians joined the war, so I'm going to talk about why. And because they joined the war, we decided to liberate the old city. And this time, if it was a united government, a Memshelet Achdut, a Memshelet Achdut is something very rare in the Israeli government. It doesn't happen a lot, but in 1967 there was a Memshelet Achdut, a united government, and there was one army. And because of the nation of Israel were united, Jerusalem opened its gates for us. So during the War of Independence of that, the nation of Israel was divided. There were different groups, each trying to liberate the city from different sides. Jerusalem didn't open its gates. We had to wait 19 years until we would unite, and only then Jerusalem opened its gates.
19 years.
So this is something extraordinary. But if you will look at it from the perspective of unity, Jerusalem and unity goes together. This is what the Radak says. Here we could look at a source 14. He is talking about King David. Since he ruled all of Israel, he went to Jerusalem to capture the Zion citadel, because that they had a tradition that only the one who will be king over all of Israel would be able to capture the citadel of Zion. So,
Rabbi,
what?
may I
Yes.
ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm so amazed about the calculation, but I wanted to clarify,
Yeah.
isn't it Levi doesn't protect the land? So it should be 11 only?
What are you saying?
The Levi, tribe
how-
of Levi.
Okay, a good question. If the tribe of Levi, it doesn't have a specific share, but I think that we are talking about the spiritual connection that every tribe of the nation of Israel should have a spiritual connection to Jerusalem. Yeah.
Instead of Levi, we have Ephraim and Manasseh. So that's true.
That's right. That is also true, right? That's also true. Natan?
Yeah.
So, let's say you go back to the guardians of Jerusalem, right? We asked that that it says in the prophecy of Isaiah, upon your walls, O Jerusalem, have I posted guardians over day and overnight. And then we said that the guardians of Jerusalem, they are constantly saying of these two verses, right? Of the verse, he's talking about that let's see, it says here that you will arise and show Zion mercy, for they will come, right? And then it says, the other opinion is that the builder of Jerusalem is Hashem, the outcast of Israel. He will gather in. Okay? So, are they speaking about our destiny, or how about our unity? Who is right? Remember that there are two opinions in the Talmud, right? There's the opinion of the Rabbi Shila that they are talking about our destiny, and there's the opinion of the Rabbi Nachman ben Yitzchak that we are talking about our unity. Who is right? Who is right? Who do you say? What are they saying? You don't have to choose between either one. You could also choose both.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, both.
Both of them, right. Both of them are right, okay? Today, the guardians of Jerusalem awaken us to one who will fulfill our destiny and cherish it. We have to cherish our destiny, right? It says, you will arise and show Zion mercy. And then it says after that, for your servants have cherished the stones. And additionally, the guardians of Jerusalem are awakening us to merit the building of Jerusalem through unity. They are calling us to open our hearts to each other. The building of Jerusalem as Hashem, the outcast of Israel, He will gather in. So the big question is, will we open our hearts to the awakening call of the Jews, of the guardians of Jerusalem? This is the big question. So it is up to us.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. So I just promised that I would just
Should we record as well? Or
sure, just to say a few of the miracles of the 67 war, because there is a big mitzvah to remember the miracles which happened, and to repeat them and to share them. So there were many miracles, but I'm just going to mention a few. That first of all, the situation here prior to the 67 war was catastrophic. They were digging graveyards in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem, because they thought that there would be from 20,000 to 100,000 casualties. And everybody thought that it would be the destruction of the state of Israel, because that the powerful Egyptian army was brought its forces into the Sinai Peninsula, and the Jordanians and the Syrians, everyone was against us. So the Israeli government decided that we don't have any choice. It says, "Habal hogacha hashkem lehogov." If somebody sets out to murder you, you should strike him before he strikes you. So they decided
To bomb the railways? No.
The airport.
at 7 o'clock in the morning to start off the Moked operation. And the Israeli Air Force practiced for this operation for a very long time, and they took all the airplanes. They only left 12 planes to guard all of Israel. Now, at that time, the planes that we had, they weren't the best planes. They were old-fashioned Mirage planes, French Mirage planes. And now the Egyptian Air Force, they had the Russian MiG planes that were very advanced. Now, at that time, when Israel launched the attack, had a 7 in the morning. Now we flew at a very low altitude, just 20 meters high. 20 meters, like it is.
20 meters?
Yes.
Wow.
Had us in order to avoid the radar. Now the Egyptians and also the Jordanians, they had very advanced radar systems, but the Jordanians, they actually detected the air raid. They detected us.
And they told Egypt, Anava.
That's right.
Which means grape in Hebrew. But the thing is, just the day before, they switched the system code to something else. And after Israel was done bombing their Air Force, they then realized that it might be Jordan warning them about Israel's coming.
That's right. Just the night before, they changed the code. And they didn't notify the Egyptian radio men. So, like, what is the chance that something like that could happen? That is like an extraordinary miracle. Now, something else happened just the night before. The Egyptian commander of Egyptian Air Force, he decided to boost the morale of his pilots, and he decided to conduct a party that lasted most of the night. So of course, all of the pilots were
Tired.
Drunk and tired.
Hungover.
So they were late for their morning patrol, because they always patrolled the skies at 7 in the morning to make sure that there is not going to be any any Israeli attack, right? So, like, what are the chances of that a party such as that would be conducted just then? And the other miracle, which is extraordinary, that all of the commanders of all the different armies, the joint command force, like all of the chief of staffs and everything, they decided to take a flight together to examine the forces at the Sinai Peninsula. So they took off at exactly in between 7 and 8 in the morning, and a few planes, and they ordered whole of the Egyptian anti-aircraft not to shoot anyone under no circumstances between 7 and 8 in the morning. So exactly at that time, the attack, the air raid happened. So all of these are coincidence? No, it isn't coincidence. It is a complete miracle, and there were many more miracles, but perhaps we will save them for a different time. Yeah.
So, yeah.